I want to start with a quick story. I want you to imagine a small business owner, a passionate entrepreneur. His name is Mark. And Mark is a business owner. It can be any type of business. It could be a contractor, it could be a law firm, property manager, real estate broker, insurance. It doesn't matter. Pick one of those businesses. Mark's business has a great reputation for exceptional service and reliability. Customers, they love his company, and he starts to grow. And then all of a sudden, Mark finds himself kind of inundated with new business, new customers. And this once smooth operation starts getting chaotic, overwhelming. Employees are stretched thin. They're working longer hours to meet customer demands. Mistakes start happening. Customer complaints start trickling in. The quality of service, which had been a hallmark of Mark's business, begins to suffer. And Mark's team is now feeling the strain. Morale's dwindling. Work is becoming more and more frustrating. Mark is spending most of his time putting out fires and dealing with customer complaints. He doesn't have time for the strategic work he needs to do, putting in place the plans that he developed with his business coach to achieve his goals. And his personal life is kind of going down the drain. The business is now controlling him, overwhelming him. It's just not as much fun anymore. Now, Mark knows the value of implementing processes. He's read all these books about processes. His coach has recommended getting SOPs implemented, but he keeps putting it off. He just thinks, it's too hard. I don't have time. I don't know how to do it. But finally, the chaos and the inefficiency in his business reaches a breaking point. So he takes the leap. He gets some help to get his SOPs implemented. And soon, roles and responsibilities become more clarified. Communication improves with his clients as well as with his employees. Things start flowing smoothly again, like they used to when he was smaller. It doesn't happen overnight, but slowly Mark's business starts to regain its footing. Operations are streamlined. There's less chaos. There's more energy. And as the business becomes more process dependent, the team's happier. They're more efficient. Customer complaints dwindle. The quality of service returns to its former glory. And Mark finally has the time to focus on his goals. He's able to expand his business with control instead of chaos. It's fun again. So welcome, everybody. My name is Michael Mills. I want to talk with you about Mission Impossible, and not this Mission Impossible, but this Mission Impossible. Essentially, what I'm talking about here is at least what many of you might be thinking of as Mission Impossible, which is scaling your business to be as big as you want to grow it without having a huge impact on your life. So basically, how do you get a work-life balance, an efficient work-life balance? What if I told you I know a step-by-step process, a pretty simple and straightforward process that will allow you to get to a place in your business where things are happening so consistently and so reliably that you could, should you choose to, take off on a vacation, say tomorrow, for a week, a month, a year. And when you got back, your business would have been making money, been churning along like a little money machine. And it didn't really matter whether you're there or not. We call this business freedom. And business freedom typically has three flavors, three characteristics. The first flavor, the first characteristic, is doing what you love to do in the business. Knowing that all those things that you don't love doing, that you don't want to do, they're being done by others who really actually like doing it. The second characteristic is what I like to call calling in for the numbers from the British Virgin Islands. You can actually put your favorite vacation spot there. Could be helicopter skiing in the Canadian Caribous, could be anywhere, Mexico, Spain. But calling in for the numbers, essentially you're working 40 hours a year, maybe 2 days annually on a strategic planning meeting, and then 1 day quarterly, 3 times a year for quarterly planning meetings. The third characteristic we like to call selling the business for what you believe the business is worth and not haggling over what someone is willing to pay for it. So to achieve one or more of these three characteristics are usually why someone starts a business. By the way, if that's true for you, are there any of these characteristics that are true for you? I mean, why are you in business? Do you want to be doing what you love to do? Do you want to be calling in for the numbers? Are you looking to sell your business? Is it any combination? Feel free to let me know in the chat. But what usually happens with small business owners is they're not able to take a vacation. Most small business owners we speak with are stressed, they're overworked, they can't commit to a vacation because it's too much of a hassle to take a vacation. It's super stressful getting everything in the company prepared so you can get away. And then when they actually come back, they have to work twice as hard to get everything back in order, back to the place where they had it before they took off for a week. And what we hear so often is, I might as well not have taken a vacation. So first, I want to say that you did not start a business so you could be stressed out, overwhelmed, and have to work all the time. You do not want to be the guy at the end of his life or the gal at the end of her life who is saying, why did I spend so much time working? Now, I'm assuming that the fact that you're attending this event today must mean that you're looking for an answer. How do you scale a business without overwhelming yourself? I have that answer for you, and I'm going to walk you through a really simple 5-step plan that can get your company to a place where it's easy to find great employees who do things exactly as you want them done, so it can free you up to do the things you want to do the things you need to do. Some of you on the call today may have tried to implement processes and failed. It didn't work. You've ended up with a bunch of processes, and no one's following them, or if they go through the effort of finding the process, it's no longer current. It's not how you do it anymore. And all of that time, all of that expense, all of that effort you've spent getting processes implemented in your business, it kind of ends up in what we like to call SOP chaos. So I'm going to show you how to get your processes organized, how to get them implemented, just like all the books tell you to. And if you stay with me through to the end of the program, end of this presentation, I've got a pretty amazing offer that I'd like to share with you. So there are all these books out there that have made a case for the importance and value of implementing processes and procedures. Has anyone read some of these books? Like if you read The E-Myth or Built to Sell. Built to Sell, by the way, is one of my best, one of my favorites. I love that one. Traction's a great book. There are a whole series of E-Myth books on different industries. So there are all these books that, yeah, Greg says the first three, great. So there are all these books that talk about the importance and value of creating a process-dependent business, but none of them explain how. They all say you got to get your processes implemented in your business, but none of them explain how. So that's what we do exclusively. And I thought, by way of introduction, I would explain very briefly how I got to this place, how I personally and my business got to this place of exclusively creating process-dependent businesses. I started my first software company in 1983. I graduated from college in 79, went to work for my dad for a while, and then moved to New York City and started a company computerizing art galleries. Now, let me put this in a little perspective. This is when a 5 megabyte hard drive was $5,000, $1,000 a megabyte. The hard drive was this big. It was huge. It was called a Winchester hard drive. $5,000 for 5 megabytes. As it turned out, it was pretty hard running this business. It was hard to find staff. It was hard to get them to do what I needed them to do. I worked really long hours, sometimes 7 days a week. Things depended on me. Basically, the buck stopped here. It wasn't what I had expected. I thought I was going to be the next Bill Gates. You know, I was young. I mean, I was in my early 20s. But after 10 years of essentially toiling away, in 1993, I sold that company. And this is the most important part, for exponentially less than what I thought it was worth. Because basically, I didn't have a business. I had a bunch of clients who were using our software, and I was completely overwhelmed servicing them. Now we hear this phase, and by the way, everybody says, well, what you were selling was a job, and that's true. So I had to sell my business to my competitor. All this time, I thought I was building sweat equity. What the heck does that mean? There's no such, I don't believe in this word sweat equity. It's only sweat. Now, I had an amazing experience. I was in New York City. I computerized the Warhol Gallery. I mean, I have some amazing stories to share, but it wasn't what I expected. And I was young, and then I got married, and then I had children, and I couldn't do it anymore. So I've experienced how hard it can be to run a business. After selling the company, I did some sales and management consulting, and then I spent some time trying to figure out what to do next. And then I read this E-Myth book. And I realized it was kind of fascinating. It could have helped me in my business. And it was something that my consulting clients could really use. And right at that time, Michael Gerber started this program called the Certified E-Myth Consulting Program. And I was one of the first CECs in the United States to get into his program. And I created a company called Business Design Corporation, delivering the E-Myth Mastery Program. And we delivered E-Myth Mastery for 17 years. But what we found is that while we were delivering a lot of valuable information, our E-Myth clients, they weren't getting processes written and implemented. So we decided to focus on process implementation, making E-Myth practical. And eventually we pivoted to becoming a software company, and we developed this software application called the TouchStone Business System. It's a software application that's specifically written for getting processes organized and implemented in your business. And we kind of stopped putting ourselves out there as coaches and consultants. We really put ourselves out there as tacticians, really, how to get your processes implemented. Very tactical, not theoretical. There is no other company that has as much experience getting businesses to the point of process dependency as we do. Nobody has as much experience as we do. And getting your business to a state of process dependency can be life-changing, transformational. This is John Sullivan, one of our Touchstone clients. He writes that in our business, which is a people business, nothing is more important than listening to your staff. And this process, the Touchstone business and getting your processes implemented, makes that happen consistently and in a positive, organized fashion. It's a simple, easy way to hold managers accountable and all of us accountable. It's been really transformational for me. And so I'm going to basically walk you through how to do this. I also want to say that I've been able to experience the fruits of my labor in 2000. And if you're interested, notice at the bottom there, there's that anepicadventure.com. In 2004, my wife, Katrina, and my then 14-year-old son, here's Katrina in the bottom right corner and my son in the middle, 14-year-old son, we took a year off, a little more than a year, and we traveled around the world. We had what we called an epic adventure. We were all over North America, Canada, Europe, India, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Vietnam, all sorts of countries. And when I came back, things were basically humming along as if I'd never left. Now, you might say, well, my business is different than that. That could never work for me. And I will say, not true. It can work for you. We've done this for almost every type of business in almost every type of industry. And my business was a consulting company. What could have been more difficult than systematizing a consulting company? So this plan works, and it will work for you and your business. But it's challenging. So let's talk about getting processes implemented, because it's hard. I mean, first of all, lack of time. Who's got the time to do this? You guys are busy. Who's got the time to write all these processes? Resistance to change. You're going to have employees who say, hey, boss, I've been here for 7 years. Why do I need stupid processes? You're going to have resource constraints, because it's, if you wanted to hire someone to write all your processes, that's expensive. And then there's the lack of expertise. Most of the people we talk to, they don't know how to write a process. They don't know how to organize them so they can be easily found by those who need them when they need them. They don't know how to keep them current. They don't know how to get their employees to follow them. So there are many challenges. And even when you make an effort to get a bunch of these processes written, it's so often it doesn't work. Maybe many of you've tried, and like we speak to so many entrepreneurs every year, and most of them have failed to get their processes implemented. Why is it so hard? There are really two things missing. You don't have a systemization plan, and you don't have a systemization tool. What usually happens, you hear about the importance of getting your SOPs implemented. You hear, Michael Gerber used to say this, for every frustration in your business, it's the lack of having a process. So you think, well, here's a frustration. I'll write a process for that. And so you start writing it in a Word document or something like that. And then you go, well, here's another frustration. Let's write a process for that. And here's another frustration. Here's another frustration. And there's no plan for getting your processes in place so that you can get the business to process dependency. And you're saving your processes in Google Docs, or maybe on some W drive on your network server, or maybe some complex Windows file folder structure, or Dropbox. And you've got checklists, you've got videos, you've got audio files, you've got spreadsheets, PowerPoint presentations, you've got all this stuff. It's in all different formats, it's stored in all different places, and you end up with what we call SOP chaos. And again, the challenge is you don't have a process development plan, and you don't have a process implementation tool. And so for the rest of this presentation, I'm going to focus on these two things, a process implementation plan and a process implementation tool. And I'm going to show you how to systematize your business. And you might say, well, I don't have time for this. Well, first of all, this is an ongoing project. Creating processes is something that happens as part of owning a business. So yes, if you're writing processes, the actual writing of the processes is ongoing. It's going to keep going for as long as the business is operational. That's not a project. And what is a project is the first step. And I'm going to talk about these two phases. The beginning, phase one, what I'm going to show you today, what I'm going to walk you through today, this process implementation plan, the plan that will help you create a foundation of a process-dependent business. That's going to take maybe 6 to 10 hours total. We can do it with you, an hour a week for a 10-week period. I mean, everyone has an hour a week. Once the foundation is built, you'll enroll others in your organization to help you. In many cases, you are not the right person to be writing processes. Your time is too valuable, and a lot of times you don't even know how to do what's being done in your business. Get the people who do it to write the processes for you. Enroll them in writing processes. You will be managing others in your organization to get the processes written and implemented. And we have all the support you need to make that happen, to teach others in the business how to write a process and how to get others in the business to follow the processes that are written. So in today's presentation, in the small amount of time we have together today, my goal is to make a big impact in the following ways. Number one, I want to give you the confidence where there was once uncertainty. Number two, clarity where there was once confusion. Number three, I want to unlock within you and your business the opportunity to create the company that you've always dreamt of. That's where I want to get to. And to have really, so I can get you to this place where you can have one or more of these characteristics, whatever yours would be. I mean, wouldn't it be great to have a business that's really fun again, a business that doesn't stress you out? So this is where we're going to get to, and let's just jump in and get started. The first thing that we talk about is the tool. First, you need a tool. You would never send a tech out on a service call without the right tools. And in the same way, you need the right tool for systematizing your business, a tool designed for process implementation. Basically, Word, Google Docs, SharePoint, these are document sharing applications. TouchStone is different. TouchStone integrates your people, your employees, positions, the boxes on your org chart, and your processes. So it integrates people, positions, and processes. So every employee, when they log in, has access to exactly the right instructions they need to do their job consistently and efficiently. It is so much more than a notebook. TouchStone is so much more than a notebook or a document sharing application. So you need the right tool, and you need a plan. You need a systemization plan. And in the 20 plus years that we've been assisting entrepreneurs in getting their businesses to be process dependent, we've basically siphoned it down or synthesized it down to 5 simple steps. And the plan is designed to help you build the foundation for your process-dependent business. At the end of this 5-step plan, you will not, hear me when I say this, you will not have all of the processes written in your business, but you will have built the foundation for your process-dependent business. And it begins with vision. Now, almost everybody that we share this plan with will say, vision? What's vision got to do with getting my processes implemented? It is absolutely critical that you start with vision. At the E-Myth, what we used to say is, if you don't know where you're going, how are you ever going to get there? There are studies that show that if you have a vision, if you document your vision, if you make plans to make advances on your vision, you have a 300% better chance of achieving your vision. But equally as important as that, you're actually going to use your vision in strategic planning, your strategic planning process, your management processes, and your onboarding processes. So as I go through these 5 steps, I'm going to be demonstrating in the TouchStone software how it actually takes the 5-step plan and implements it in the software. So in TouchStone, for example, when you log into TouchStone, you can go to a library of processes. We have a library of general processes, and you could scroll down to a process that we've got called our mission, purpose, and values. You can download that process into your account, and in there's a custom form for developing your mission, purpose, and values, and there's a work plan that walks you through each step of the process. Once you've created your mission, purpose, and values, you'll put it in the very front of your application. So every time someone needs to access your mission, purpose, and values, it is always right here. So when you're onboarding someone, boom, you can go right to it. You don't have to be hunting for it. Where is our mission, purpose, and values? When you're holding someone accountable, you walk by their desk and you hear them saying something that, man, those are not our values, what you're delivering right now. You can hold them accountable to it. And as you begin to develop your mission and your big, hairy, audacious goal, you can actually start creating rocks or goals that you can set to achieve it. So your vision is always here. So step number 1 is vision. Step number 2 is organizational chart. What we like to recommend is that you build the organizational chart of your future vision. It's absolutely okay if you built the organizational chart of your existing company, but if you have a vision, you want to build your org chart of your future company. Your org chart is so much more than a picture. In TouchStone, it becomes this dynamic tool that you'll use to strategically grow your business. In TouchStone, your org chart can actually help you understand, who do I hire next? What do they do? What are the expectations that I have of them? How do they achieve those expectations? How quickly will I get a return on investment of the person that I hire? When an employee logs in, TouchStone knows exactly who they are. So when an employee logs in, you'll see that TouchStone knows that employee is, say, a call center rep, for example. And if they go to the org chart, all of the positions in the company are grayed out, except for the position in which they sit, in which you've assigned them. If they click on their position, a complete set of processes, everything that call center rep needs to be able to do their business, the processes that you'll use to manage them, to train them, to hold them accountable, all of these processes will be listed right there. And you can click on any one of those processes and all of the instructions will come up. When you get a new account, you'll log into the organization chart, and we give you a kind of a generic account. You can add positions, edit positions, remove positions, and everything in TouchStone is drag and drop. So as you're working your org chart, you can shift positions around and put them under different people, different positions, and different managers. You will actually start using your org chart to solve problems. Your org chart is such an important piece of the development of your business. But it's in most of the people that we talk to, they had this incredible experience of creating an org chart, but then it gets put in a drawer and nobody ever looks at it again. It's a fantastic tool for developing your business. Okay, vision, org chart. Step 3, process identification. In process identification, you are simply going to list all of your processes, and you're going to organize them in 4 key functions. What we say is that there are only 4 things that happen in your business, and it doesn't matter whether you're a consulting company or a Whole Foods grocery store or a real estate company or a contractor. There are only 4 things that go on in your business. You've got to get the business. You've got to do the business. So getting the business will be all of your sales and marketing processes. Doing the business, these are all of your client fulfillment processes. Everything that you do for your clients that are directly related to serving the promise that you made in the sales process. Doing the business. Running the business, these are all the things that are going on behind the scenes. Finance, admin, HR, IT, hiring, firing, payroll, clearing paper jams, all that stuff. And guiding the business, the 4th key function, those are processes for strategy and management. So getting, doing, running, guiding. All you're doing in this step is you are naming processes. Think of it as creating a table of contents for your future operating manual. And if I was to say to you something like, okay, well, wait, what are all the processes in your business? You would, that's typically a paralyzing statement. It's like a deer in the headlights. People can't answer that question. But if I said something like, well, how do you get new business? You might say, well, we do Facebook advertising, we mine LinkedIn, we do trade shows, and we do school events. Great. You just gave me 4 processes. When you get a new lead from Facebook or a school event, what do? Well, we make a qualification call, then we make a site visit, then we do a proposal, then we follow up the proposal. Great. You just gave me 4 new processes. Then what do? Then what do? Then what do? And we walk you through each of your 4 key functions, naming all of your processes and getting them organized in those 4 key functions. In TouchStone, when you log in, you'll see the 4 key functions over here under this button that says 4 key functions. And you will simply go to one of these areas. And what we typically recommend is go to the library and go to the general processes and use the general process library to help you identify processes. We have a complete set of process names for each key function. So you can go through this library and say, yeah, I need that. I need accounts receivable. I need invoicing. I need collections. I need budgeting. You can go through all of these processes and download them into your account. Or you can click on the processes button and create processes manually. But it's usually really helpful to go to the library. It's really helpful to get you started. Okay, vision, org chart, process, link. So what we get to here is what I like to call the foundation of a process-dependent business. In step number 4, you are going to link all of the processes that you identified in step 3 to boxes on the org chart that you created in step 2. So you're going to link processes to roles on your org chart, 1 or more roles on your org chart. As you link these processes to roles on your org chart, you're automatically creating position-specific operating manuals. Then you'll add your employees and you'll link them to 1 or more roles on your org chart. Now, when they log in, all of their processes, the exact instructions they need to do the job the way you need it done, are served up to them. These are the processes that are used to train them, manage them, hold them accountable, to create the consistency and the efficiencies that you need to grow with control. So in TouchStone, for example, in this example, I'm going to go to the key function guiding the business, and I'm going to select the one-on-one process that I downloaded from the library. And you'll see that this one-on-one process has a work plan, and it has a couple of custom forms that can be completed here. And one would be for the manager, one would be for the employee. And what I would then do is I would take this process, when I click the link button right here, this little chain link button, my org chart pops up. and I select who in my organization, probably in this case, all my managers, because it's a manager meeting process, who manages people, who needs this process. And step by step, I click all of the people who need it. And you'll see anybody who's orange there now has this process linked to their position. When they log in, they have access to this process. And I will use this process to train them and manage them and hold them accountable. The fifth step. So the first 4 steps, that's phase 1, right? That's going to take somewhere between 6 to 10 hours to do. It does not take a long time. In the 5th step, you'll begin prioritizing the writing of processes and then getting them implemented. You're going to write them, prioritize, write, implement, repeat. Prioritize, write, implement, repeat. And usually when people start identifying the processes, they might get 500 processes and they go, oh, how am I ever going to get these processes written? I have too many, and they give up. But if I was to tell you, you only have 10 processes to write, you can kind of go, well, I could get that done. So in this step, you prioritize the writing of processes. And basically what we help you identify, what are the highest priority processes to get written? Not what are the highest priority processes. What are the highest priority processes to get written? So if you have a receptionist or a front office person who's about to leave, well, like the 10 or 15 processes on their job description would be really great to get written, right? They're about to leave. Wouldn't it be great to have have that person help you get those processes written? So when they leave, you can hire someone in and everything that they do has been documented. So another thing that might happen is there's an area in your business, maybe nurturing clients, maybe customer service, maybe one of the areas in the 4 key functions really needs some help, needs some assistance. So that might be your highest priority. Or maybe there are things that you're doing as the owner that you shouldn't be doing. Like you shouldn't be doing payroll, collections calls, receivables, invoicing. You should hire a bookkeeper for that. And if you don't have the processes for how to do those, it often makes it more difficult to hire a bookkeeper for that. So let's say, for example, I want to write a process for booking a service call. I can log into TouchStone. I can go to the area where I'd probably organize this. I go to Processes, Create, and I'm going to give it a name. Process name is going to be called Booking a Service Call. And in this case, I'm going to put it in the administrative category, and I'm going to select it, and I'm going to create a work plan. There are actually 9 different tools in TouchStone that you can use: videos, audios, forms, scripts. But in this case, I'm going to use a work plan, which is the step-by-step workflow. And I'm going to type in the work plan name. And in this case, it's booking a service call. And let's say that we're using a software application called Service Titan. This is an application that plumbing companies and electricians use. There's a integrated chat GPT tool in TouchStone. You can simply go in there and say, give me a step-by-step program for how to book a service call in the Service Titan software. Click go, and it's going to produce for you a template process. Have people used chat GPT before? It's remarkable what it comes up with. You just click add to work plan, and it's going to paste all of that information directly into your software, into TouchStone. Sometimes it's dialed right in, but I would say that a lot of times you just want to go through that and tweak it, make it a little better, customize it for you. But it is so much easier to edit an existing document than it is to think of it from scratch. So not only do we have that general process library that's built into the software, we have a built-in ChatGPT artificial intelligence tool that will generate your work plans for you in seconds. Okay, so many people ask me, how long is it going to take to get my business to be process dependent? And I said this earlier, but I'll say it again because it's 2 phases. Phase 1, which is this step that I just went through, is what I like to call creating the foundation of your process dependent business. It's a project. It should only take about 6 to 10 hours, depending on how much work you've already done on your business. The second phase is all about writing processes. implementing them, monitoring them, managing them, innovating them. And this step is not a project. It's ongoing. It's kind of like flossing and brushing your teeth. You do a little bit, maybe weekly, maybe monthly, but it will be something that happens for as long as you own the business. This is a success story. This is a company called Sullivan Service. John Sullivan is the owner. And in John's words, he said, TouchStone is inexpensive. It's a great way to organize and document your processes. You have position-specific operating manuals for everybody in your company, and you don't have to do it all at once. You can do a little bit at a time and add them whenever you need them. Now, more importantly,
in our business, which is a people business, nothing is more important than listening to your staff. And this process makes that happen consistently and in a positive, organized fashion. For TouchStone, that is like an example of how, how it can work best for one-to-one meetings, for consistency, for ease of me to look through and see what everybody's doing. It's a simple, easy way to hold managers accountable and all of us accountable. It's really transformational for me.
So I just want to say that John you can tell he's not an IT guy. He's a regular fellow who doesn't consider himself a techie person, but it's been transformational for him and his company. Okay, so in conclusion, in one of my earlier slides, I listed all the challenges that you have for getting your business to be process dependent: lack of time, resistance to change, lack of resources, lack of experience. I just want to say that we're here for you. The TouchStone software is affordable. It's an application specifically designed for process implementation. It's super easy to use, and we have all sorts of free resources and support to get you up to speed as quickly as possible. We have that library of pre-written general processes that you can download. We have that integrated ChatGPT, that artificial intelligence tool that will essentially write your process templates for you. We have data migration services. If you have a bunch of processes already written and they're all over the place and they're disorganized, we can migrate them and organize them for you into your TouchStone account. We have process writing services. We have services to walk you step by step through the 5-step plan for creating a process-dependent business. We've been doing this for more than 20 years. Our hope is that we can put the fun back into your business and make it easier for you to scale with consistency and control. So I just want to wrap up where we started. What we're talking about here is freedom, what many of you may think of as an impossible mission: scaling your business to be as big as you want it to be without having a huge impact on your life. Creating your company into this like smoothly running machine, a company where it's easy to find great employees because you've got this super cool company to work for. At the E-Myth, we used to call this creating a game worth playing. A company where it's easy to train those employees, get them up to speed as quickly as possible so you can get a return on your investment. A company with management process, so it's easy to retain employees as well as have things being done consistently and reliably by people who are really enjoying their jobs. A company where you can achieve the freedom, whether it be calling in for the numbers or doing what you love to do in the business or positioning the company for sale. I want to conclude with one thing. Michael Gerber once said that the only reason to own a business is to get more of what you want from life. Owning a business, it's hard. Creating a business that succeeds, that is a great place to work, a business where your employees want, and they want their friends to work at that point. You can't get there by working harder and harder and harder, doing it day after day after day. Implementing operating procedures is key to scaling with control. It will free you up from spending all of your time working in the business and give you the opportunity to work on the business. But most importantly, we only have a short time on this planet. It's not the purpose of being human to toil your life away. As I said earlier, you don't want to be that guy or that gal at the end of life wishing you could have had more time to do the things you love doing. You can actually have a business that gives you life as well as a lot of money and success. You can create a game worth playing and make it great for everyone in the company.